spelled out the audit findings in terms of the work that they do. And I'm bringing this point forward because I want to start the meeting by saying that where we are, we keep on improving to understand the situation much better in the Northwest Province in terms of the work that is taking place. As I indicated, for the purpose of today, we're meeting with the National Prosecuting Authority, the NPA. We also meeting the DPCI, the Director of Priority Crime Investigation Companies, commonly known as the Hawks. Meeting with the Asset Forfeiture Unit, which is also part of the NPA. We are also interacting with the SIU, the Special Investigating Unit, but we have also specifically invited the IPID, IPID, the directorate, the independent directorate that is dealing with issues of police investigation. We're doing so because we want, in a clustered and coordinated way, engage with these agencies of the state so that we understand much more and better the work that they do in the Northwest Province. I may also say, and this is to signify the importance of this interaction today, is that the Northwest Province was placed under administration in 2018, where the national government invoked Section 100 of the Constitution by placing this government under administration. This is unprecedented that the entirety of a provincial government was placed under administration. But that demonstrates that there was crisis in the Northwest. And at the center of this crisis was the collapse of the financial management systems in the province, the results of the audit performance of the Northwest was deteriorating year in, year out for 4 years consecutively, that there was non-compliance of the recommendations of the Auditor General, and that was a problem where irregular expenditure, fruitless expenditure, wasteful expenditure, and all of that were skyrocketing. That the non-observance and compliance with the supply chain management processes in the Northwest, and all allegations about fraud, corruption, mismanagement of funds, and all of these that constitute financial misconduct, or what we call financial irregularities, allegations thereof. Now, the engagement today is extremely important because we need to get to the bottom of what is happening 3 years down the line. What performance has been registered? What are the issues? What are we grappling with? What is it that is not being done? What is it that is being done? And all of those related issues. Because the law enforcement agencies in the Northwest, like in any part of the country, have got a key obligation to help that province. They have that obligation to ensure that anything on criminality, allegations as it is, must be investigated to the latter, and that the people of the Northwest must understand what went wrong with their government, what happened to their monies, what happened to the services and development which were supposed to be rendered to them. They they have that expectation, and this process is important in that sense that we need to get to understand the situation of the work of the IMTT from that point of view, and the work of the law enforcement agencies, which expectedly have got to operate independently, have got to operate without any fear, favor, or prejudice. And that is quite important. But they've got to do their job in the way that they inspire confidence. They demonstrate that they are committed to ensure that they deal with the issues in the Northwest, and what underpins their conviction is an unflinching commitment to solve the problems and to get rid of crime, the scourge of crime that is ravaging in our province, the Northwest province. Now, with those opening remarks, as I indicated, I acknowledge and appreciate the people who have attended here. As I said, Deputy Minister Matale is also here. Welcome, Honorable Deputy Minister. I see Deputy Minister Obed Bapela. I had already indicated that Minister Mkun is also here. Yes. And I've received the following apologies. Minister Becky Kele is also here. General Kele is also part of the meeting. Yes, in that sense, we appreciate the attendance of our executive. They demonstrate that commitment, that they are serious, and they take the issue of the Northwest serious, and this issue has got to be dealt with in that sense. I received the following apologies, or I also pick up that the head of the Hawks, General Lebea, is also part of the meeting. Welcome, General. I received an apology from the following, from Minister Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma. She's not going to join us in the meeting. I've received the apology from Minister Lamola. He's also not attending the meeting. I've received an apology from Minister Njimo Tsecha. She's also not part of this meeting. And Minister Zolim Kize. Yes, they are not going to form Minister of Health. They are not going to form part of this meeting. I also received the apology from the head of the SIU, Advocate Mutibi. He is also having prior national commitments that inhibit him from attending this important meeting. Having said that, because this is a cluster meeting, I always, when I have ministers or deputy ministers present, I give them the opportunity to render some remarks if they want to, before I allow the presentations to happen. In the absence of Dr. Dlamini Zuma, I'm not sure who is designated from the IMTT to lead the delegation. Yes, I'm not sure, but because this has got to do with the security cluster, I'm sure it will be okay if I allow Minister Begitele to have a word, and from that point he can give me the guidance as to who must speak if it's not him from the executive, as a way of just introducing themselves and highlighting the fact that they are here. I respect that protocol in my meetings. Over to you, Honorable Betty Tyler. You will guide me in that respect. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chair. Good morning, all the participants that are here. Chair, I heard you mentioning ministers and deputy ministers that are here. Maybe just to confirm by allowing them to greet the platform, but ours is to listen rather than talking today from the people that are doing the job as as the agenda stands, starting with the NPA and ending with the IPID as the end of the day. And I'm sure it will be more on the discussion rather than the preamble. Maybe if ministers and deputy ministers confirm their presence, and then we continue to allow the presentations. Thanks very much, Chair.
All right. Thank you very much, General Tele. Honorable Minister of Public Service and Administration. Honorable Censor. You can't say anything. I pick up Honorable Joe Pasha, just greet us.
Good morning, Chair. Thank you very much. I appreciate the invitation to be part of the meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Honorable Obed Bapela.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Indeed, I'm also here. And as correctly put by Minister Tele, that we are here to listen and will probably engage on the question answers based on whatever is directed to the IMTT. But for now, obviously the institutions that we have invited, they will be leading on the discussions. Thank you very much.
Good. Honorable Deputy Minister Matale.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, ministers and deputy ministers, and good morning, members of the Ad Hoc Committee. Thank you very much. It's an honor and privilege for me to be part of this morning, Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Honorable Sindisiwe Chikunga. Honorable Chikunga. Honorable Mkulu, Senzo. I see their names here. Yes. I also see the head of NPA, Advocate Bato is also here. As I indicated,
yeah,
General,
I'm present. Yeah, I'm present. I'm fine. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. There is a galaxy of all personalities here from different areas, which is quite good. What we are going to do, honorable members, is that we are going to, and I've just seen the presentations, all of them. They are not detailed or they are not long presentations. I'm going to invite in that order the 4 presentations at a go, starting with NPA, take the Hawks, go to SIU, and lastly, go to IPID in that order, allowing each presentation to take about 15 minutes, at the most 20 minutes, to deal with these aspects. We'll see how it goes and we'll take it from there in terms of moving this process forward. Yes, I received an apology from Honorable Member Yunus Karim. He's going to leave much earlier, around 11:30. And Honorable Gideon has submitted the apology. I mean, from those members from the Ad Hoc Committee. She has submitted the apology. She's not going to be part of the meeting because of health reasons. But I'm happy that Honorable Dikele Dimashangu has joined the meeting. And other than that, the full complement of about 15 members of parliament who serve in this Ad Hoc Committee are part of this important meeting. Let's start. Over to you, NPA. I guess it is Advocate Batoy.
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Greetings to you, greetings to honorable members present, also honorable ministers or deputy ministers present. We firstly would like to say that we appreciate the opportunity to interface and engage with the National Council of Provinces, although it's an ad hoc committee. the work of Parliament is hugely important in terms of providing both support and oversight. And so we very much welcome this opportunity for engagement with yourselves, Honourable Chair and Honourable Members. The work of the National Prosecuting Authority forms an integral part of the entire criminal justice system. And of course, we come right at the tail end. But with regard to the Northwest intervention, there's been a lot of collaboration. But before I talk about that, Honourable Chair, let me first say that I'm joined in this presentation by Deputy National Director of Public Prosecutions, Advocate de Kock. He was having a bit of a challenge connecting from Cape Town. I'm hoping that he has been able to connect. I see him, he is present. Thank you. Advocate de Kock is present, and also the Deputy National Director of Public Prosecutions, Advocate Rabaji. They are present with their teams. Advocate de Kock is the head of the National Prosecuting Service and National Prosecution Service, and as such, the Specialized Commercial Crime Units of the NPA resorts under his command, so to speak. And Advocate Rabaji is currently the Deputy National Director that heads up the Asset Forfeiture Unit in the National Prosecuting Authority. Both Deputy National Directors were appointed only in June last year, and but I'm really pleased that we are able to, in that sense, have stability in these key units within the National Prosecuting Authority so that they can drive the interventions that are necessary. Chair, they have brought much needed stability and leadership to these critical parts of the NPA. The Northwest intervention, we are, as you mentioned, Chair, the fact that the provincial government was placed under administration in terms of Section 100 indicates the challenges in the region were, and I should say, Chair, that prior to a year or so ago, the resources in the Northwest in terms of the Asset Forfeiture Unit as well as commercial crime prosecutors, given that there was no recruitment for almost 4 to 5 years in the NPA, was really, really bad. But I'm very pleased to say, and colleagues who are doing presentations will give Honourable Chair, Honourable Members an indication of what's been done to address those issues, and we are in a much better position at the moment. So before we proceed, I'm going to ask Advocate de Kock to please introduce very quickly, just by name, those that are with him, and as well as Advocate Rabaji after that. Advocate de Kock.
Thank you very much, NDPP. Good morning, Chairperson of the committee, members of the committee, various ministers and deputy ministers and colleagues. My name is Rodney de Kock. As the NDPP indicated, I'm currently heading up the National Prosecuting Service in the NPA. I have with me Advocate Lebo Baloy. She, Honourable Chair, has been recently appointed as the Special Director for the Special Commercial Crimes Unit of the NPA. And this is the unit that manages all those investigations relevant to the topic of discussion for today. So I will, after the NDPP grants that permission, give a brief overview of the situation, and I'm going to ask Advocate Lebo Baloy to take us through the detail of the presentation as it relates to the prosecution. I've also got Advocate Yanni Skitter with me. He is a senior state advocate in the NPA Ops operations and responsible for the management of all the data relevant to the work of the prosecution. So we try to centralize the information relevant to cases under investigation and prosecution. So those are the two people who are currently with me in DPP. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Advocate de Kock. Advocate Rabaji, if you quickly greet the committee and introduce those that are from the Asset Forfeiture Unit.
Thank you very much, NDP. Has introduced me, Chairperson. Sorry,
we can't see you, Advocate Rabaji. Is your camera on? And we can't hear you now either. That's better. Please go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much, NDPP and honorable members. My name is Omerabaji Rasataba. I'm the head of Asset Forfeiture Unit in the National Prosecuting Authority. I'm one of the national deputies to the national director. I'm accompanied in this meeting to make this presentation by the special director, who's the head of operations in AFU, Advocate Priya Besesa, and she's with Advocate Peter Bezedenhout and Advocate Lucky Posa, who are responsible for the Northwest intervention. We've taken this matter very seriously, Chairperson and honorable members, and will be here to answer all the questions after the presentation has been made by Advocate Baloyi. We work together as a team in NPA, and thank you for this opportunity to make this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Those are the colleagues. If I could now ask Advocate de Kock or Advocate Lebo for your remarks, as you mentioned, and then hand over to Advocate Lebo Baloyi to do the presentation for the NPA. Advocate de Kock.
Thank you very much, NDPP. Chairperson and members of the committee, I think that the first approach, the strategic approach of the NPA last year was really to understand what the challenges were that we were confronted with, particularly in our management of the Northwest intervention matters. What we discovered was that we were not adequately resourced, as the NDPP indicated. The NDPP then looked at this question and gave a directive that we urgently need to resource the SSCU capacity in the Northwest. Now, this capacity is located in the Director of Public Prosecution's office, and this capacity in the prosecution is a number of senior state advocates and deputy directors of public prosecutions. So as an initial measure, we decided to appoint contract appointments into that office, which we have done. So as we speak, there are 5 contract appointments in the Northwest province, and we have 7 permanent staff members in the province. We went on a particular recruitment drive to urgently fill the vacancies that existed in the province. So as we speak, there has been much progress over the last few months, and we have been receiving reports from our partners, the DPCI in the province, that they are having much better working relationships now with the prosecution. So the role of the prosecution is to assist the investigations or the investigating officers with the investigations into these matters, not to do the investigations themselves, but really to provide advice and guidance to investigating officers. So that is a role that we have strengthened and enhanced over the last few months, and I have been receiving positive reports regarding the working relationship between the head of the Northwest Province, SSCU, and the head of the DPCI in the province. So we have also tried to identify all the relevant matters to the Northwest intervention so that we know and understand what are the complex and what are the number of cases that we have to attend to. Then further, Chairperson and colleagues, we at a national level, Advocate Baloyi was appointed as the acting special director also in June last year. And like I've indicated, her permanent appointment was made on the 1st of February this year. And so since last year, Advocate Beloy has had the responsibility to oversee the work of the various components of the NPA in the provinces. And so in this regard, we've also strengthened the work that we do by a better coordination of our various regional heads. We call them regional heads of the SSCU. And so a lot of work has gone into that, to getting people to focus on the cases that are priority, and these what we call the less complex cases, that be then sent to other prosecutors in our regional courts, etc. So a lot of work has been done to what we call to prioritize the work, the important work around corruption. And we are starting to see the fruits of that by the number of cases that we are managing to bring to the courts. So Advocate Beloy's role has been to strengthen those working arrangements in the provinces, to ensure that there's better coordination with the colleagues throughout the country, to identify all the matters that needs urgent attention and prioritization, and to ensure that our SSCUs are properly capacitated in all of our respective offices throughout the country, but particularly in the Northwest, where this particular intervention has arisen. And so we also then have a very strong working relationship with our national colleagues under the leadership of General Abaya. And General Abaya and I, we speak very regularly on the phone, even on weekends and after hours. That is the nature of our relationship. And then, of course, General Abaya also communicates with the NDPP on a regular basis. And Advocate Beloy, in terms of the operations, have a very close working relationship with members of General Abaya's team at the head office. So I give all of this by way of introduction, because this is the context within which we do our work. Ultimately, our work must be evaluated on the cases that we bring to court, and then the successes that we have in court. So a lot has been done. When we arrived, we noticed that there were many gaps. We closed the gaps, but we say there is still lots of work that we have to do to make better progress. But we're satisfied that we're well on our way now to ensure that we can hold those who have perpetrated these offenses within our various parts of our country, that we can hold them to account. So with those brief words of introduction, I will now hand over to my colleague, Advocate Beloy, to introduce herself to the committee, and then we can receive the presentation of the NPA. Thank you very much, members of the committee.
Thank you very much, Advocate de Kock. Good morning, NDPP. Good morning, Advocate de Kock. Good morning to you, Chairperson, and honorable members. As already mentioned by Advocate de Kock and the NDPP, I am Lebogang Baloyi, and I am the newly appointed Special Director for the Specialized Commercial Crimes Unit. If you can just put the slide on, please, Yanni. Okay.
Yanni, if we could go into the full slide as opposed to slideshow mode. Thank you.
Thank you. So this is a presentation on all the matters which involve the Northwest intervention. This slide gives an outline of the cases relating to the Northwest intervention. We have 51 cases relating to what we refer to as the IMTT list. 13 of these matters are matters on the court roll. Although this slide gives an indication that the matters on the court roll are 13, I just want to give to do a correction of this number, in the sense that we actually have 16 matters on the court roll. And 13 is an old figure that we previously had before we had 3 other matters enrolled in court recently. We have 13 matters with prosecutors for decision. We have 9 matters under investigations. We have 6 matters which have been finalized, 5 of which were finalized with convictions and 1 with an acquittal. We have 2 matters which are to be enrolled soon, and these 2 matters which were pending for decision by the prosecutors. It includes that 13 number of matters that were pending for decision. So the decision in 2 of these matters were finalized, and the matters will be enrolled in the future, very soon in the future. The total amount involved in respect of these matters is 2,371,281,878. Next slide, please, Yanni. Now, this slide relates to AFU progress matters on the IMTT list. Now, please note that the details of matters and progress made in respect of investigations will not be disclosed due to the sensitivity thereof, and to as well prevent possible dissipation of assets. The following orders were obtained by the Asset Forfeiture Unit. 80 million preservation order. This order is subject to a pending forfeiture application in the High Court in Mabato. Further, there's a 454,000 confiscation order, which was granted by the Magistrate Court in Vryburg. The following are AFU recoveries which are being considered. A POCA Chapter 5 criminal forfeiture restraint application is being finalized by the AFU to the approximate value of 200 million. Next slide, please. Now, this slide relates to matters which the AFU is looking into, which are pending decisions by prosecutors. The AFU is looking into 3 matters which are awaiting decisions by a prosecutor. These will determine these decisions will determine possible POCA Chapter 5 criminal forfeiture recoveries. The following matters are pending forensic audit reports. And these are 3 matters which are waiting forensic audit reports, which the AFU is looking into. And these forensic audit reports will determine possible criminal and or civil forfeiture recoveries. Now we come to the cases in court, the cases relating to the Northwest intervention. As mentioned previously, we have 16 of these matters in court. 2 of these matters were enrolled during October 2020, and 1 was enrolled during November 2020. In one of these matters with case number Rustenburg case 30208-2014, one of the accused has already been convicted and sentenced, and the trial is proceeding against his co-accused. Now the next slides, the next few slides will give an outline of the cases in court. The first matter relates to Ventersdorp case 6307 of 2011. It relates to the allegations of the commissions of the offense of fraud committed against the Ventersdorp local municipality. It involves, the loss involved in the matter is 44,400 rands. And briefly, the background on the matter is that the municipality was going to host a gala dinner where 3 quotations were sourced for catering. One of the councillors of the municipality connived with the service provider to send cover codes, ensuring that they received the tender. Furthermore, they inflated prices that were agreed upon. The matter is before the court, and it's been remanded until the 25th of February 2021. The next two matters are outlined on this particular slide, and they relate to Volmar Randstad case 707 of 2015 and 1109 of 2015. The allegations of the corruption and fraud, the allegations relate to the allegations of the commissions of the offenses of corruption and fraud committed against the Makwasi Hills local municipality. The loss involved in respect of the first matter, case 707-2015, is 345,000, and the loss involved in relation to the second matter is 152,000. Briefly, the facts in relation to the first matter, 707 of 2015. The accused was a traffic officer who connived with the truck owner to defraud the municipality by issuing fraudulent license discs. During his appointment as a chief traffic officer, he did not disclose to the municipality that he had a previous conviction of fraud. Now, the facts in relation to the other matter, case 1109 of 2015, it's alleged that the accused issued fraudulent license discs to a member of the public and requested an amount of 125,000 rand. The matter was before court on the 17th of May 2021 for trial. Case number 4 before court is Okni case 6211 of 2015. It's alleged that the accused committed fraud against the Kenneth Kaunda District Municipality, and the loss involved in this matter is 10 million rand. Now, the facts briefly are that the complainant, who is the municipal manager of the Kenneth Kaunda District Municipality, alleges that the municipality entered into an agreement with an entity-styled dual-point media to produce a TV program to promote the municipality to the community. However, the company allegedly never produced the program, and the accused used the money to pay his previous expenses. The matter was before court on the 15th of February 2021. Case number 5, relating to Rustenburg case 302-08-2014, allegations of the commissions of the offense of fraud against the Rustenburg local municipality. The loss involved in respect of this matter is 418,990. Now, it is alleged that the 3 accused, who were employees within the salary department employed at the municipality, connived with their colleagues that monies would be deposited into their accounts as acting allowances, of which they would withdraw the money and share it amongst themselves. The matter has been remanded to the 29th of March 2021 for trial of 2 of the accused in the matter. It should be noted that one of the accused, that is Sendani, entered into an agreement with the municipality after his disciplinary hearing, and he paid back the proceeds of the fraud amounting to 57,767 rand 60. The other accused, Selokwani, was found guilty and sentenced to 10 years imprisonment, 5 years of which was suspended for 5 years on each count. Case number 6, relating to Okni case 15-11-2010, the offenses of fraud relating to the Dr. Kenneth Kaunda District Municipality. The loss involved in respect of the matter is 550,000. Now, briefly, the facts are that the acting municipal manager, although the presentation is mentioning that it's the municipal manager, I will just rectify this and give an indication that it was in fact an acting municipal manager and one official who misrepresented to the municipality that an entity styled Kumekucha Investments rendered a service to the municipality, knowing that that was not the case, and payment was effected to the said company. The acting municipality is the sole director of this entity. The matter was remanded until the 19th of April 2021. Case number 7, relating to Okni case 1611 of 2010, allegations of fraud committed against the Dr. Kenneth Kaunda municipality. In this instance, we have a potential loss of 134,000. The facts of the matter briefly, another correction, it's not the municipal managers, but it was an HR manager of the municipality and one official.
Chairperson. Honorable Chair.
Yes, Honorable Zandamela.
No, thanks, Chair. I'm a bit lost, Chair. I just want to check or be assisted.
Yeah.
Is it not the presentation? Is the presentation not supposed to speak to what was presented by the AG to the committee? Because now I see what they are presenting now speaks to municipalities. I just need to be assisted, Chair.
No. Allow them to present. Immediately after their presentations, we will compare notes with what we picked up from the side of the AG, the National Treasury, and the information that we have collected. I agree at this stage they're giving us what they are investigating and what is before the courts as such. Now, my view is that allow them to present. We will engage and compare what we have in our possession with what the NPA is presenting to us. Yes, and part of the scope, as I understand, it is both the province and municipalities. Yes, thanks.
Thank you, Chair. We'll proceed on that basis. If I could ask Advocate Baloy to please speed up a little bit. We might be, we had maximum of 20 minutes, so if you could please perhaps leave out CAS numbers and things. And thank you very much, Chair. Please go ahead, Advocate Baloy.
Thank you very much, NDPP. This matter, case number 7, it was before court on the 18th of February 2021. Case number 8, relating to the Dr. Kenneth Kaunda District Municipality. The acting municipal manager and one official misrepresented to the municipality that the service provider had rendered a service to the municipality, knowing that that was not the case and payment was effected to the said company. Now, it should be noted that the accused in this matter are also the accused in the matter outlined in slide number 6, case 1511 of 2010. So the two matters are dealt with in one trial. Case number 9, relating to also the Dr. Kenneth Kaunda District Municipality. It's the same facts relating to the previous matter, but the accused in this particular matter are different from that other one. The matter, the accused, one of the accused is the manager for the office of the mayor, and the one official who misrepresented to the municipality that the service provider had rendered the service, whereas that was not the case. The matter was before court on the 18th of February 2021. Case number 10, relating to the Department of Health. The department advertised a vacancy for a post of the head of the department. The appointed head of the department misrepresented by submitting false information during his application. Information was received that the appointment was irregular, and he did not meet the requirements as per the advert of the post. The matter has been remanded until the 24th of February for trial. Case number 11, Makapan Start, case 8312 of 2015. The accused is a social worker who was in the employ of the Department of Social Development, who motivated for the NGOs involved in community projects to be assisted with funds to be able to sustain their projects for a longer period of time. After the NGOs had received the funding from the department, the accused later went around and solicited bribes from project managers. The matter was before court on the 18th of February. Case number 12, relating to the Ramotsiri-Muilwa local municipality. It's alleged that the service provider, who was paid by check, requested that he instead be paid by EFT, and it was agreed that he would not cash the check that was already issued to him. However, the service provider cashed the check, resulting in a double payment for the services that he rendered. The matter was before court on the 15th of February. Case number 13, relating to Vryburg Case 7202 and Naledi local municipality. The matter relates to, like I said, the Naledi local municipality, and it's alleged that the municipality made an application for the approval of housing projects in respect of Vryburg extensions 25 and 28. The application was approved by the Department of Local Government and Housing. The manager, who was Mr. Eric Kwana, appointed an entity-styled cashew engineering services without following procurement processes for the establishment of the 3,000 low-cost houses. It's further alleged that the service provider submitted claims for the work not done. Investigations revealed that roads, earthworks, stormwater, and street lights were not constructed, even though the completion certificates were submitted, and payments amounting to 87 million rand, which resulted to an overpayment of 60 million rand were done. The current status of the matter is as follows. Accused number 1, who was Mr. Pukwana, was sentenced recently. His sentence will be outlined in a later slide. The matter relating to the other accused was before court on the 4th and the 5th of February. Case number 14, relating also to the Department of Health. The department signed an SLA with an entity-style Cureva or Mediosa without following tender processes. He further allowed, the head of the department further allowed an upfront payment of 30 million to be paid to the service provider without them rendering any services. The matter has been remanded until the 1st of March 2021 at the High Court. Case number 15, relating to the Ratlow local municipality. The acting municipal manager of the municipality allegedly unlawfully appointed service providers without advertising tenders for the renovation of the municipality offices and renovation of the community hall at the Madibuho village. The threshold of appointing service providers without following the bidding process is 200,000 rand. The appointment of the service provider by the municipal manager to provide services to the value of 7.8 million was done in contravention of the PFMA and the supply chain processes of the municipality. The matter was before court on the 4th of February 2021. Case number 16, relating to the JB Max municipality. It's alleged that some officials and the mayor of the municipality connived to defraud the municipality by submitting false invoices for goods and services not rendered. The matter was before court on the 16th of February 2021. Case number 17, Christiana, the matter relating to the Lekwatemane local municipality. The complainant, who was the municipal manager of this municipality, alleges that the then director, technical services, who's the accused in this matter, was found to have contravened the provisions of the Municipal Finance Management Act by sourcing quotations and invoices and recommending and approving payments without following proper processes. These whole transactions occurred on the same day, on the 8th of May 2014. Thus, payment was made irregular and was unauthorized. The matter has been remanded to the 26th of February 2021. Now, this slide relates to the matter on slide 13, which outlined that accused number 1 had already been convicted and the trial against another is in progress. Now, the accused in this matter is Mr. Pukwana. He was the former municipal manager of the Naledi local municipality. The matter was finalized by the regional court in Vryburg on the 12th of February 2021 as follows. The accused was sentenced to 6 years imprisonment in respect of count 1 on corruption, 10 years imprisonment, 2 years suspended for 5 years in respect of fraud charge, 5 years imprisonment in respect of count 3 relating to contraventions of the Municipal Finance Management Act, and also 5 years imprisonment in respect of another contravention of the Municipal Finance Management Act. The sentences in respect of the 4 counts were ordered to run concurrently. Thus, the accused will serve an effective term of 8 years direct imprisonment. The accused consented to a forfeiture in terms of the Prevention of Organized Crime Act to the amount of 350,000, which was paid by Kashu, who is the accused against whom the trial is still continuing. And the funds were paid into his bank account, and the total amount of the confiscation order is thus 454,732. Now, this slide outlines the staff complements within the SCCU in the Northwest. A senior state advocate was recently promoted and thus left the unit. There are 5 senior state advocates on contract within the unit. These contract appointments were initially for a period of 1 year, and thereafter the Department of Public Service and Administration authorized that these be extended for a period of 2 years. Thus, these contract prosecutors will now be on contract for a period of 3 years, unlike the 1 year, which was previously the case. We also have seven permanent advocates within the office, and we motivated for the creation of 7 more posts to the NPA's OD unit, Organizational Design Unit, during December 2020, my apologies. The unit is considering these requests for the creation of additional posts, 7 posts within the SCCU in the Northwest.
As you round up.
Yes, Chair. I will be done just now. There's been discussions with the Department of Justice, the Judiciary, and the Legal Aid, which has led to the establishment of a dedicated specialized commercial crime court, which is due to commence its operations on the 1st of April 2021. Now, this slide outlines the capacitation plans for the asset forfeiture in the Northwest. The asset forfeiture intends to appoint members of the Northwest and Pretoria Bar Associations to deal with matters where capacity in the AFU Pretoria is lacking. They also intend to establish an AFU satellite office in Klerksdorp to source matters directly from the DPCI, and to appoint 2 SFIs at the AFU Klerksdorp satellite office, and as well 2 SSA senior state advocates at the asset forfeiture Mabato office. The asset forfeiture is currently fast-tracking the filling of 2 permanent senior state advocate posts at the asset forfeiture in Mabato, and interviews in this regard have already been finalized. There's also a fast-tracking of the filling of the post of a Deputy Director of Public Prosecution in the office, who will in fact be the head of the unit in the province. The shortlisting in respect of this is to be finalized. This slide now outlines the medium to long-term action for the capacitation of the asset forfeiture in the Northwest. They'll be referring matters to experts in other AFU regional offices for drafting. They refer final freezing drafts to experts in other AFU regional office for the settling of papers. They also consult with other expert stakeholders like the South African Revenue Service and the Companies and Intellectual Property Commission to present a unified law enforcement agency approach. They also secure services of outside senior counsel on a case-by-case basis to assist in argument or opposition. That brings us to the end of the presentation, Chairperson. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Advocate Baloy. Thank you, Chairperson. That is the presentation of the NPA, and we look forward to engagement with the committee.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair.
You see at the end of your presentation, somehow Mr. Honorable Zandamela from the EFF is right, that your focus, about 80% thereof, was in municipalities, where the real issue is in the provincial government, where departments are placed under administration, and that there are a number of forensic investigations ensuing, and some of them completed. It has not been your focus, but we'll come back to that particular point. Yes, let let's take the presentation from the Hawks. Let's welcome General Lebia. Over to you, General.
Good morning, Honorable Chairperson and honorable members, the ministers present, the deputy ministers, and the senior officers. From the DPCI side, it is represented by the national head, which is myself. I am accompanied by the provincial head of the Northwest Province, which is Major General Mboto. Maybe I should just hint that having come into the DPCI on the 1st of June 2018, the provincial head of the Northwest came into the DPCI on the 1st of December 2018. So it is almost 2 years in the environment. Honorable Chairperson, the presentation that we are doing, which I request the Secretariat to load on, is actually the same as the one that has been done by the NPA. It is actually a joint presentation, as Honorable Chairperson and honorable members will appreciate that the matters that the NPA is taking to court, prosecuting them or making decision on them, are actually being investigated by the DPCI. So all the cases that they have dealt with are coming from the DPCI. It would appear that it is not moving, the slide is not moving from my side. If I can go to the first slide. Yeah, Honorable Chairperson, those presentations that have been made by the NPA of the 51 cases are actually the matters that we are also handling. They have indicated that indeed we have got 16 matters at court, and they explained the 13, it was just the time frame on which the statistics were captured, but we are all dealing with the 16 matters that were at court. In these matters that were at court, the number of accused persons are 25. Honorable Chairperson and honorable members, part of the work that the DPCI is doing is to secure the attendance of the accused person in court, which is where the prosecuting authority will deal with those matters. So we have secured the attendance of 25 accused in court. I also need to indicate that the NPA has already indicated the matters that are awaiting decision, as well as those that are awaiting guidance. We have got those 13 matters that are with the NPA, that they are to be making decision, as well as guidelines in regard to 2 of these matters. So it means that 13 of these matters are almost complete and just need to be decided upon, with the understanding that 2 may need further guidance. Chairperson, the matters that the NPA shall not have presented are those matters that are under investigation. I will not deal with the finalized matters which are reflected as 11, as well as the matters that have already been completed with regard to decision making, but are just waiting to be enrolled, that are reflected in the slide as 2, and those that are finalized reflected as 11. Coming to the matters under investigation, Chairperson and honorable members, we have not put the details of those matters. We thought it is wise that we can only put the matters that are already on the court roll and leave those matters that are under investigation. I can just hint what types of matters are this one that we have not put here, as this one is a public platform. That the 9 matters that we are dealing with, the first one obviously will be dealing with the Department of Health. I will not indicate what are the nature of that, but that particular matter was reported in the Mabatu. We are investigating that particular matter. The second matter, Honorable Chairperson, is the matter that involves the municipality, that is Moses Kotane local municipality. Again, I will not deal with the entities that are involved in the alleged crime here, but is contravention of the PFMA as well as the MFA, which involve the amount of 312 million rands. The next one, Honorable Chairperson and members, is coming from the Premier's office. This matter again was reported in July 2020, and it also is at an advanced stage. I will not hint the name of the company and the like to avoid disclosing details, but it is in the Premier's office. The next one is in the Department of Human Settlement. And again, this one, I will not deal with the details, but it also involves the public works environment. The next one is involving the Department of Finance, which again is fraud and forgery, including the uttering of fraud documents. I will also not deal with the details of this one. Safe to say that the focus is on 3 senior officials in a particular department that the investigation seems to be identifying the alleged criminal activities. The next one, Honorable Chairperson, will be dealing with the Rizobodla local municipality, that a matter that was reported in Lichtenberg police station. Here again, I will not deal with the entity that is involved, but the investigation is also focusing on fraud and corruption. The next one, Honorable Chairperson and Honorable Member, is a fraud matter that has been reported in Mabatu in 2018. And this one again is more in the Department of Health. I will not mention the companies that are alleged to have been involved in this form of transportation of patients and the like. The next one, Honorable Chairperson, is the Department of Safety and Transport. Again, this matter was reported in Mabatu in May last year. I will also not deal with the nitty-gritties of this one. Safe to say that it is a fraud and corruption matter that is under investigation. The last of these matters, Honorable Chairperson and Honorable Members, is a matter that was reported again in May 2020 at Mabatu. This again is a fraud and corruption matter. It has to do with the Department of Transport. So these, Honorable Chairperson and Honorable Members, are the matters that are currently under investigation. As I have indicated, it's a whole package that we are working closely with the NPA And as indicated by the NPA, the working relationship between the NPA and the DPCI is very healthy in that province, although it started at a late stage, but we are happy regarding the working arrangements. Honorable Chairperson and Honorable Member, that is in short the presentation from the DPCI. I thank you.
General Lebea.
Yes, sir, Honorable Chairperson.
I don't know how helpful is your presentation to this committee. As I understand, all the matters that were presented by the NPA are the matters that you referred to the NPA, and others are on the court roll, and others are awaiting the decision of the prosecutor. Now, your matters that you just highlighted now are the matters that you are investigating, and others are in the public domain, especially where you do search and seizure operations. I don't understand when you say you can't give us some detail about those particular matters. I'm raising this point because the first speaker of who raised a concern probably is right, because the Hawks met the Scopper in the Northwest some 2 weeks ago, and you were able to give them the case numbers that you are dealing with, that you were able to give them the details of the investigations. And an important committee such as this, an ad hoc committee appointed by Parliament to get to the bottom of these matters, which some of them are 3 years old and all of that. And you can give the details to the committee so that the committee gets to understand a better view about why all these delays and what are the impediments and what are the blockages. There could be any other reason. Why can't you provide those details when you have done so in other platforms? Before I move to the other one. There's a question that I'm posing to you, General.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, we are of the view that we should not be unpacking the details of these matters. That the matters might be pursued by those that will obviously be identifying the entities that we are working on. I can allow the provincial head to also come in and make some comment with regard to the presentation that shall have been done in the portfolio, in the provincial legislature. We will have no problem in disclosing the case numbers. But I think the moment we go into the companies that are under investigation in the public platform, it is that area that we are having some sort of concern that these matters, those that are involved, will begin to make some moves of part of the things that shall still need to be done.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying give us all the details. I'm not saying give us the companies, but just giving a case number. We would know where this case is and when it was registered. If it is 3 years, if it is 4 years ago, we understand so that when we engage with you, we get to understand why the delays are there in respect of this particular case. I'm starting on this particular point because we have received the first presentation from the NPA. We were expecting another presentation from you that gives us a sense about the investigations that you are pursuing, so that we get to understand where are the delays and where are the blockages. But I hear you. I think as part of the discussions, we can take this particular point further. But you said the provincial director would want to explain one or two things.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. I'll allow him to do that. But we have no problem in providing the case numbers. We can be able to do that. I can do the provision of the case number, which will show the police station where it is reported, as well as the month and the year in which the matters have been reported. Before,
isn't it that I must maybe just that part give you time to sort it out, go to another presentation, because at the end, as part of the discussion, we need to get a sense about what is happening and what is not happening. Maybe we could come back to you.
Chairperson.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
I must remind this platform that you are live on TV.
Yes.
We are. I'm sure we're all aware, and we are not alone on this. There will be machinations and responses on other people. I will request that what is very correct, that the members must be given better part, be allowed to be minimum to safeguard the progress of these cases going forward. If we can be allowed to really to be minimal on the matter, that can help. But I hear, especially on times, so that we can explain why so long, why from that time to that. If that can be allowed to say, we don't begin to arm other people, so that as we rise here, they're working hard to shift and push things around, and they're working on some other machinations with other people and all that. So I as a member of parliament myself, I understand how far we can go, need to expose, be clear with the parliament. But also we request that, unfortunately, the NPA would have dealt with the issues that are finalized and issues that are in court, which are already known. Some of the matters here are in the middle of investigation, so long we don't really arm the other people to begin to have better machinations than us. Thanks, Chair.
Yes, I fully concur that we need minimum and proper information as possible, so that, as you say, General, we don't arm anybody, but just giving us the time that a case was open, we are able to make that proper assessment. We don't want to accuse you and attack you that you are slow, you are not doing your job, when you actually do your job, and maybe the cases are very, very recent, but some explanation has got to be made to this committee. I suggest that we pause a bit. We'll come back to the end, to the Hawks. Let's take the presentation of the SIU and then allow General to just sort out that matter. We'll give him the opportunity thereafter. This is quite important. Let's go to the SIU, Special Investigating Unit. Over to you. I'm aware that Advocate Muchibi, as I indicated in the beginning, that is not yet somebody. He said there will be somebody much senior. Yes, Leonard Leclerc will take us to the presentation. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Chairperson. Let me greet the Chairperson together with the Honorable Chairperson, together with honorable members, and also the ministers and deputy ministers present, and also pass my greeting to the head of NPA, the head of the Hawks, colleagues, and everybody present in this meeting. Chairperson, like you have indicated that Advocate Motibi is not present. He's attending another meeting which was pre-planned long time ago. So I will be presenting on behalf of the SIU. And accompanying me is Advocate Mamokete Ramoshaba, who is a lawyer on all these matters. So she will be able to provide an insight where there are some questions. Without wasting time, Chair, I'll go through the presentation. This is an outline of our presentation, and I will try and minimize time so that and not go through all the matters. For example, the first one is SIU legislative mandate. I won't go too much into this presentation, but we just wanted to arm the committee so that they can able to know what is the powers, what is the major function of the SIU. And when we go to the next one also, it outlines our visions and mission, of which I'm sure the committee can able to go through them. And this is a major one regarding our outcome, Chairperson. With regard to the outcome for SIU, the major one is civil litigation, where we institute civil litigation, where there's a potential recovery of assets, and we can also apply for a preservation order at an early stage of an investigation where there is a prima facie evidence. And the other outcome for SIU is a disciplinary referral, where when we come across any misconduct by any official, we package that together and send it to the relevant state institution. And in that process, we also provide assistance in terms of the conduction of the interview, where we make our members available for testifying. We also refer our matters to National Prosecuting Authority. In terms of our act, if we come across any criminality, we refer that to the National Prosecuting, and we are working with NPA in most of all our matters together with the Hawks. And the other one, Chairperson, is referrals to the other regulatory bodies such as SARS, and where there's any misconduct for action to be taken. And I think the last one is systemic recommendation, where we make it to the state institution concerned so that they can able to correct whatever issues that we came across so that we don't come back and investigate the same thing. With regard to our strategic focus, Chairperson, I'm not gonna go through it, but these are some of the action that we are trying to improve our process so that at least there's short turnaround time to investigation, and we monitor and we follow up in terms of our investigation. Chairperson, I'll go straight to the investigation of what we are required to report on. Chairperson, this is the breakdown of allegations received during the time when there was an uprising in Northwest. 44 cases which were referred to SIU are breakdown as follows. Currently, we can indicate that there are two motivations for the proclamation, which was submitted to the Department of Justice. Both matters are with the Department of Justice, and they are awaiting a letter of support from the Premier. In terms of our process, when we motivate for a proclamation, a Premier must send a letter where he concurs with the request. So we're still waiting for these letters from the Premier's office, where it can able to lead to the matter to be proclaimed. And in terms of the proclamation issued based on the matters, 5 of them were issued. And in terms of the matters which were covered by the proclamation, when we went to Northwest, we found that based on the allegation that we received, 3 of the allegations were covered by the proclamation, which was already running in Northwest. And matters under investigation by the Hawks, where they were referred to us, are 3, where we did not do anything. We liaised with the Hawks, and they were busy with such matters. And matters that had been closed on document received after analysis, we could not find any evidence to support the allegation are 29. And matters that can be referred to other agency are 2, where we felt that those are regulatory matters and can be dealt with in terms of regulations. Those amount to 44 cases. Now I'll go through to the matters which were done via the proclamations. The first one is Moretele Local Municipality, Chairperson. And in terms of the allegation was the procurement of or contracting of information communication technology, goods and service under that contract, which is mentioned there by or on behalf of the municipality, and payments which were made in respect of. That's the allegation that we have investigated. And in terms of the outcome of the investigation, we have referred 2 disciplinary referrals to the municipality, and there's pending hearing out of those disciplinary, and we understand that there's some action in terms of sanctioning the referral. And there's also 2 criminal referrals that we have referred to National Prosecuting Authority, whereby it's pending decision by the National Prosecuting Authority. And the rent value of potential cash on asset to be recovered, we are talking about 154 million, and matters is referred to the special tribunal. Currently, this matter is sitting at the special tribunal where we want to recover the 154 million, and we can indicate that this investigation has been finalized. The only matter that is ongoing is the matter at the special tribunal where we're trying to recover the money. The next one is Madibeng local municipality, where we are looking at the procurement of or contracting for goods, work or services by or on behalf of the municipality, and payments made in respect thereof, or any undisclosed or unauthorized interest which the personnel of the municipality or the state may have had in contractors, suppliers, or service provider bidding for work or doing business with the municipality, or to whom contracts were awarded by the municipality. Or we are also investigating any unlawful or improper conduct by the personnel of the municipality or applicable contractor, supplier, or service provider. And in terms of this investigation, Chairperson, the outcome today, we can say that we have referred 1 disciplinary referrals to the municipality, and there's also 1 criminal referral that we have referred to the National Prosecuting Authority. And in terms of rent value of potential cash and asset to be recovered, is 190 million, and matter is with the special tribunal currently. And on this matter, the investigation is still ongoing. In terms of the next one, it's the Department of Public Works, Road and Transport. In this department, we're looking at the procurement of or contracting for goods, work or services by or on behalf of the department, and payments made in respect thereof. Here, in terms of the outcome, we have referred 5 disciplinary referrals to the department where hearing is pending. And in terms of rent value of actual cash on assets recovered is 616 AOD, which we have signed with the service provider where they've committed to pay back the money, of which we found that the money was paid irregularly. And in terms of criminal referrals, we have referred 11 criminal referrals to NPA where the decision is pending. And in terms of rent value of potential cash on asset to be recovered, we are looking at 24 million, and the matter is currently in the special tribunal where we're trying to recover the money. In terms of the next one is Northwest Development Corporation. And in terms of these matters, we are looking at the procurement of or contracting of goods for goods, work, or services by or on behalf of NWC and payments made in respect thereof. And we're also looking in the maladministration in the affair of NWDC and any loss or prejudice suffered by the NWDC or the state as a result of such maladministration in relation to the following project: the purchase of the Christiane Hotel and Game Farm, establishment of the Tokiso Security Services as a subsidiary of the NWDC. In terms of the progress on this one, Chairperson, we are in the process of setting aside the contracts, and matters will be referred to the special tribunal by the 26th in order to set aside the appointment of the MVES. This matter is also still ongoing, and I think proper details can be provided later regarding the value of this matter. In terms of the Department of Health in the Northwest Province, we are also looking at the aeromedical services and patient transport services by or on behalf of the Northwest Department of Health. This services is coupled with the one which is done in the Free State. That's why you can see the Free State Department of Health. So it's one proclamation covering both Northwest and Free State. And we're also looking at the patient transport services by or on behalf of the Northwest Department of Health in terms of that bid number that is mentioned there and payments which were made in respect thereof. In terms of the outcome currently out of these matters, Chairperson, we can indicate that we have freezed the pension of the HOD, the former HOD, which is amounting to 2.1 million, and the application was granted. And in terms of the rent value of potential cash on asset to be recovered, we are looking at 30 million. And currently we are preparing court papers to refer it to the special tribunal so that we can recover the money. And currently the investigation is ongoing. And if we can just give the summary of the outcome, Chairperson, you can see number of NPA referrals that we have done to date with regard to all those matters regarding to Northwest is 13. The number of DC refer is 13. Number of systemic recommendations that we have made is 3. And under number 4, those are the matters that are currently in the special tribunal, where we have 12 matters, and the breakdown are 8 matters against the scholar transport service provider, 1 matter to freeze the pension of the former HOD, and 1 civil matter against Dr. Lekalakala in his personal capacity, 1 matter in respect of Moretele local municipality, and 1 matter in respect of Madiben local municipality. And Chairperson, we are mentioning this because this matter are currently in court and they are public. That's why we are mentioning them. And the value of all the matters that are currently in the special tribunal are 448 million, of which we are trying to recover. And the value of acknowledgement of debts that we have signed with service provider is 631 that we are trying to recover. That's the outcome regarding summary of findings regarding the investigation. And further than that, Chairperson, we are asked to make a reflection on the COVID-19 investigation. That's the request that we found, that we must cover COVID-19 in our investigation. And this slide outlines the mandate that we have in terms of investigating the COVID, whereby we are looking at procurement of and or contracting for goods, work, and services, including the construction, refurbishment, leasing, occupation, and use of immovable property during or in respect of national state of disaster, as declared by government notice number 313 of 15 March 2020, by or on behalf of the state institution and payments made in respect of. This is the general proclamation that we received, which cover all the state institutions. And with regard to Northwest, Chairperson, this is the summary of allegations that we have received. You can see the first one was from JB Marks local municipality to the value of 5.4 million, whereby it involves 3 service providers. But we can see that this matter was closed because there were no SCM process. There were no, the allegation did not, that is the municipality did not issue out this tender. The next one is relating to Ratlo municipality, which was 207. And the allegation was that the municipality did not follow the correct SCM process when appointing the service provider. Even on this one, Chairperson, the municipality did not issue out this tender. That's why the matter was closed. And the other one is the Department of Health involving 2 service providers to the value of 13.9 million. And the investigation revealed that there is no evidence of wrongdoing and there was no payments made to the 2 service providers. Therefore, matter was closed on that particular date. And the allegation continue. The other one is Ramotseri Muila local municipality, whereby the whistleblower failed to substantiate this allegation and the team could not continue with the matter and it was closed. The other one is Department of Social Development in Northwest. The value is 4.5 million involving 4 service providers. After investigation, the team concluded that the allegation level against the mentioned service provider for non-distribution of food parcel were unfounded. And as a result, the matter was closed. And with regard to the actual outcome achieved with regard to other matters that we have investigated, the matter will be referred in the following slides. You can see that number of NPA referrals that we have made out of COVID investigation is 3. And those are reflected that 1 for JB Max, 1 for Ratlo, 1 for Department of Health, and in total is 3. And number of DC referrals that we have made, it's 3 JB Max, 3 Ratlo local municipality, 2 Department of Education, 1 Department of Health, and in total are 9. And number of referrals for execution of administrative action, it's 1 for JB Max. And in terms of rent value of potential cash to be recovered, we are sitting at 1 million, of which it's an AOD, which was signed. And number of referrals we have made to SARS, where some of the service providers were not tax compliance, is 3. And in terms of matters in progress, these are the matters in progress. Number 1 is JB Max local municipality, where we are looking at donation and distribution of food parcel. And we're also looking at renovation and refurbishment of quarantine site. There we are looking at 8 service providers and number of contract awarded is 23 and the value is 4.8 million. And we envisage that we'll close these matters, we'll finalize these matters by the 31st of March. The second one is also Ratlo municipality, where we are looking at the abuse of petrol cards for COVID-19 related travels. There we are envisaging that we'll finalize the matter by the 31st of March. The third one is the Department of Social Development, where we're looking at non-distribution of food parcel, irregular procurement process in appointing service provider for distribution of food parcel. There we are looking at 113 service provider and the value is 15.4 million. And we also envisage that we'll finalize this matter by the 31st of March. And when you look at the total value of all this matter in this slide, it's 20 million, 20.2 million. When you go to the next one, it's the Department of Education, where we are looking at the regular procurement process followed and a regular appointment of 6 companies without competitive bidding processes. And there we're looking at 10 service provider and the value is 10.2 million. And we envisage that this matter will be finalized by the 31st of March. And when we continue, there are still other matters at the Department of Health that we are looking at. Payments of VAT to service providers who are not VAT vendors. And there we're looking at 21 service providers and the value is 15.6 billion. The next one is Moses Kotana local municipality. And we're looking at abusing the powers and using the resources meant to ease the plight of the poor during COVID-19. And there we also, the matter is still under investigation. That's why we don't have these details. In these matters, we want to finalize it by the 31st of March. And there's another one, which is the last one, the city of Matosana local municipality, where we are looking at the regular process with regard to the procurement of PPE. And there the value is 1.3 million. And we're also gearing up to finish this matter by the 31st of March 2021. And the value of all this matter is 15.6 million. That is what we are currently looking at. Chairperson, this is all from SIU, what the committee requested us to update on, and we will be available to answer any question. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much. SIU, the last presentation before I go back to the Hawks is IPID.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, ministers, deputy ministers, esteemed members of the Northwest Task Team, Section 100, for affording us this opportunity to make a presentation to yourself. My name is Dikele Dintlatseng, and with me are my colleagues, Mr. Matthew Sissoko, who's the National Head of Investigation, as well as Ms. Batseba Mutale, who is heading the Northwest IPID. IPID derives its mandate from Section 206 of the Constitution, Section 2066 of the Constitution, where it clearly outlines that upon any referral by the Provincial Executive Council to our office, we have every right to investigate any misconduct or any allegations or any offense committed by the South African Police Service, including the Municipal Police Service. But what is key for us is that our cornerstone and backbone of IPID is found in Section 28.1, which clearly stipulates the core functions of IPID as an independent directorate. So I will be handing over to Mr. Sissoko, who is our National Head of Investigation, just to take you through our mandate as well as the work that we are doing in the Northwest. Thank you. Mr. Sissoko, you can come.
Thank you, Chairperson, honorable members, the ministers and deputy ministers present, and colleagues. I'm going to take you through the presentation for IPID relating to cases of IPID for the past 5 years, as requested by the committee. In respect of the Northwest Province, over the past 5 years, we had a consistent intake of cases ranging between 300 and 400 cases each financial year. For the financial year 15-16, it was a total of 355 cases. For 16-17, it was 404 cases. For 17-18, 337 cases. For 18-19, 369 cases. For 19-20, 321 cases. Now, this the consistent intake also apply in respect of your Section 28.1a, B, D, and F, and Section 33.3 cases. These would be your death in custody, death as a result of police action, rape, assault and torture, and non-compliance with Section 29 of IPID Act, which amounts to a crime in terms of Section 33. Rape intake pattern has a reflection on GBV picture within the province and SAP within our provincial SAPS members, and lack of management attention to these matters. In respect of the 8 rape cases received in 2019-20, additional recommendations were made for involved members to be suspended, but no response was received from provincial management. IPID Northwest does not generally receive a high number of corruption cases. However, there was a peak in 15-16 financial year of corruption cases. This was caused by cases that were received from provincial hotline, anti-corruption unit, command unit. Most of these cases were reported unanimously, and unfortunately, because of lack of enough information to enable us to conduct investigation, these matters did not lead to anything. Next slide, Chairperson, slide 5 talks to decision-ready cases. These are cases where we've completed investigations. Also there, The completion rate is consistently good enough in the province. 15-16, we had a completion rate of 342 cases. 16-17, 262. 17-18, 176, which was a dip. 18-19, 323, and 19-20, 282. So the 17-18 financial year, the department experienced budgetary constraints which impacted on service delivery from August to the end of the financial year, hence the sluggish performance for the province. In instances where resources were constrained, priority was given to cases of death in custody, death as a result of police action, your rape cases, your corruption cases, as well as your Section 33 cases, which will be your non-compliance with Section 29 of our Act. The province has always been sensitive to rape cases and has been consistent in its effort to give priority to these kind of cases. Backlog of technical reports at forensic laboratories affect our performance in these kind of cases. With regard to criminal referrals, in the next slide, the province referred in 2015-16, 107 matters, 16-17, 132 matters, 17-18, 128 matters, 18-19, 165 matters, and 19-20, 182 matters. The outcome of those matters, those criminal referrals in 15-16, those that were declined to be prosecuted was 27. We had none in 16-17, 18-19 was 55. Sorry, 17-18 it was 55, 18-19 46, and 19-20 52. Those that were prosecuted, 15-16 it was 17, none in 16-17, 10 in 17-18, 11 in 18-19, and 4 in 19-20. With regard to those where the NPA requested more information, it was in 17-18 where 6 such matters, further information was requested. Where we are waiting NPA responses, in 15-16 it was 63 matters, in 16-17 132 matters, in 17-18 56 matters, in 18-19 108 matters, in 19-20 126 matters. Only one matter was withdrawn in 17-18. So the totals there, you have 107 matters in 15-16, 132 matters in 16-17, 128 matters in 17-18, 165 matters in 18-19, and 182 matters in 19-20. So it is clear, Chairperson, that the number of referrals through the years are not consistent with the number of outcomes. The challenge is that the outcome and the length of time it takes is entirely dependent on external stakeholders that, like the NPA, the courts, and which is outside the control of IPID. IPID management, however, does engage the Office of the NDPP and the different senior prosecutors for intervention regarding time it takes for cases to be disposed of. With regard to disciplinary recommendations, over the 5-year period for 15-16, there were 15-16 there were 115 referrals, 16-17 116 referrals, 17-18 146 referrals, 18-19 183 referrals, 19-20 191 referrals. And with regard to the outcomes thereof, where the verdict was that of not guilty, in 15-16 there was none, 16-17 it was 9, 17-18 20, 19-20 2, and 1992 and 1921. And guilty verdicts, 15-16, it was 19, 16-17, 3, 17-18, 27, 18-19, 7, and 19-20, 15. And those that were withdrawn by the complainants, it was 4 in 15-16. And then where members resigned from service before disciplinary action could be taken, it was 2 in 1920. And then where IPID is awaiting response, 15 in 15-16, 80 in 16-17, 17 in 17-18, 77 in 18-19, 32 in 19-20. And where no disciplinary steps were not taken, it's 40 in 15-16, 7 in 16-17, and 6 in 19-20. Where disciplinary actions were initiated, 37 in 15-16, 17 in 16-17, 5 in 17-18, 22 in 18-19, and 22 again in 19-20. Where positive recommendations were made, these are the recommendations where we recommend that no disciplinary action should be taken. It was 77 in 18-19, 75 in, it was 77 in 17-18, 75 in 18-19, and 113 in 19-20. Even though there are some pockets of success in convictions, Chairperson, there is a low movement in respect of implementation of recommendations by SAPS in compliance with Section 30 of our Act. There is still a substantial number of recommendations that still has to be implemented by SAPS. During 15-16, there was a tendency to send reports of no disciplinary steps been taken on recommendations made. And in the outer years, though, through engagements, there was a situation where there's steady improvement, hence the reduction of the number of cases where disciplinary steps have been taken. Chairperson, Section 30 of our Act makes it clear that the SAPS must initiate disciplinary action upon receiving recommendations by SAPS. We have had workshops with SAPS with regard to this issue to try and remedy this situation. In some cases, members resign before management can take disciplinary steps against them. The next slide, Chairperson, I'll take you through criminal convictions. And 15-16, it's 6. In 17, it's 16-17, it's 5. In 17-18, it's 4. In 18-19, it's 3. In 19-20, it's 6. It is clear that the number of referrals through the years are not consistent with the number of convictions. The challenge is that the outcome and the length of time it takes, it's entirely dependent on external stakeholders that have indicated the decisions that are taken by the NPA as well as the matters that are in court. It must be noted that there are still several processes, e.g. serving of subpoenas, summons, etc., after the decision it's taken to prosecute. IPID management is, however, engaged with DPP and its different senior prosecutors for intervention regarding the time it takes for cases to be disposed of. Most of the cases in which convictions are secured are not necessarily from the same financial year. I must hasten to say, Chairperson, that because of the nature of the work that IPID does and the nature of the suspects and the accused that we deal with, who are people who are already in the criminal justice system and understand the system, it takes longer than other normal cases for our cases to be disposed of in our courts. At our last statistical analysis that we did, we established that it takes on average 3 years for our cases to be disposed of in our courts. As an example, there was one matter of torture that has been in our courts since 2010. So it just gives an idea how long it takes for our matters to be disposed of. With regard to criminal acquittal, Chairperson, the next slide, it will be 1 for 15-16, 8 for 17-18, 4 for 18-19, and 2 for 19-20. So the same reason would apply as indicated previously. The next slide, slide 17, Chairperson, I'll take you through matters that are on the court roll. For 15-16, it was 53, 16-17, 26, 17-18, 161, 18-19, 173, and 19-20, 141. Chairperson, it is clear that there's consistent growth in the number of cases that go on our court roll. It is unfortunate that the workload growth is not experiencing the same level of growth with regard to resources and in terms of human and financial resources. The same capital attending to the post-decision ready, these are the matters that are now before the court. I expected to also deal with those that are still under investigation. As I've indicated, on average, it takes more than a year for the matters to be, in fact, it takes more than 3 years for the matters to be on the court roll. So that is one of the challenges we have, Chairperson. The process that includes serving subpoenas, witness consultation, transportation to court, serving summonses, and transportation of dockets and so forth are also contributory factors. Categories with most cases on the court roll are your cases of assault, GBH and common assault, attempted murders, rape, and murder cases. It must be noted that IPID has only one resourceful office in the whole province that has a huge impact on service delivery. The Northwest Province is vast and requires long distance to be traveled by investigators. The next slide in relation to challenges, Chairperson, it's lack of resources, and this has always been emphasized at every platform we've been to, whether it's Parliament, whether with Treasury, and continued increase of the workload of IPID, and there is still lack of cooperation by SAPS, especially with regard to recommendation, and this non-compliance with Section 30 of IPID Act. Lack of accessibility in the province, Chairperson. Ideally, we would want to have representation in every district in the province. However, because of budgetary constraints, we are unable to. However, we have now developed a strategy to try and ameliorate that situation in terms of engaging with other departments to try and get offices where we can operate from. And also a dependency on laboratories and for technical reports is also hampering our ability to conclude investigations timeously, Chairperson. It's a well-known fact that our national laboratories, Department of Health, takes long to conclude the expert technical reports that we need for investigations. So too, technical reports that are dealt with at SAPS FSL also take some time to be concluded. So those are some of the challenges we have, Chairperson. And COVID-19 also did not help the situation, Chairperson. Chairperson, thanks. That is our presentation. Thanks.
All right, thank you very much, IPID. Let's go back to General Lebeya. Don't give us too much. We don't want too much. We just want to get a sense about what is happening. Just a bit, case numbers and the number of cases and all of that. so that when we discuss or evaluate, we should do that with that understanding. Over to you, General.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson and honorable members. The first one of the cases is Mabatu case 135 of 1/2016. So this is a matter that was reported in January 2016. Now all what was required to be done in this has been done. The matter is being packaged and it will be submitted to the National Prosecuting Authority for decision. The next matter is a Muhwasi case 292 of January 2017 that deals with Moses Kotane local municipality. In this matter, there is only now one statement that is outstanding. And after that, it will be submitted to the NPA for decision. This matter was previously handled at national office, and it has, since the appointment of the new provincial head, been sent to the province, which is where there has been accelerated efforts to speed up the work. The third—
With respect, I'm sorry to interrupt, Chair, with respect, and sorry, General Lebia, if I may, Chair.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair. I'm a little concerned about the General giving the CAS numbers because it might be easy for someone to get information from police stations. We know that there's corruption all over and within our own entities even. So I'm a little bit worried. I think it might be better if the General doesn't give the CAS numbers in this public platform, but actually gives perhaps, you know, the municipality and other detail that will assist the committee. But I would urge that we don't release CAS numbers on this platform.
Thanks for that advice. I accept it.
Thank you,
General, just give us the year that the matter was enrolled. A year, only the year. It will help us.
Or alternatively, Chair, probably a report in detail to the committee chair. If the fear is that the too much details that might be given has a potential to jeopardize the investigation and the successful prosecution of the matter, maybe the middle ground could be that they provide that too much detail to you, Comrade Chair.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, it's okay. If you think that you can do that, it's okay, but just give us the year because that analysis for us will be very, very much important. Okay, you can proceed, General.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. The third matter was reported in 2020 July. Is in the Premier's office. The fourth matter was reported in 2017. In this matter, there are 4 statements that are still outstanding. The fifth matter was reported in 2013, February. What is remaining is the warning statement, as well as the report from the National Treasury. What has been delaying this matter is the determination of the correct tariffs of what lawyers are supposed to charge. That is what delayed this matter. The sixth matter is August 2016. It is a matter that was also handled at a head office before it was sent to the province. In this one, we have got 6 statements, as well as the National Treasury reports that are still outstanding. The seventh matter was reported in March 2018, this matter will still need much time because of the need to audit the telephone call in the call room center. Case number 8 was reported in May last year. In this matter, there are already 18 statements. It's a new transport matter, so it's still not that old. The last matter is also reported in May 2020. What is remaining in this one is 7 statements, as well as a report from the bank that are still outstanding. Those are the 9 matters that are still outstanding. Chairperson, the last comment that I would like to make is the issue of the presentation by the provincial head on the provincial scope. The matters that were presented in that platform are not these ones. They are matters that have been reported by the SCOPA itself, and the provincial head was giving progress on those matters. Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson and honorable members.
All right, thank you very much, General. Honorable members, these are the 4 presentations. Very, very good presentations, all of them. They give us a sense about what is happening, at least in respect of the work of the law enforcement agencies in the Northwest. I'm now inviting you to engage by asking questions, by making comments, by making proposals in terms of how we must really proceed forward. Over to you, honorable members. I'll start with Honorable Ryder, followed by Honorable Ditoy, followed by Honorable Fesser, in that order. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chairperson. Interesting presentations. Interesting presentations, but they didn't really tell us that much, Chairperson, so I must disagree with you a little bit, because essentially what they told us, and I mean, I'm not going to ask a lot of questions and interrogate the numbers too deeply, but the fact is that what we're seeing is that we've got, from one presentation, 300 to 400 cases a year going forward. 44 cases on one municipality. What that's resulted on is 16 active cases that the NPA reported going that are currently ongoing in courts, and 1 actual finding in court, which I'm sure is going to be appealed, and it's going to be dragged on for quite some time. So what I'm saying to you, Chairperson, these reports should not have come in the order that they should have, or that they did. It should have been the police as the investigating authority, then maybe the Hawks for the serious ones, and then we could have ended with the NPA to say, you know, from the work, from the complaints that have happened through the police, we've had the following investigations, of these ones, the ones are in court, and these are the prosecutions. You know, the fact that there was a comment about waiting for response from the NPA, and each year was detailed, and those numbers were substantial. The point is, the frustration of the public, the frustration of the people on the ground, the frustration of public representatives is that there are many cases reported. There are many people that are getting away with, if not murder, then theft, grand theft and corruption. Okay, these are reported. They're not being acted on quickly. People are spending long times on suspension while they're under investigation, and they're drawing salaries. We are seeing years and years passing before there is any final result or resolution to the matter. And that happens in so few cases that it's not even worth mentioning. We're frustrated with the legal system and the process, the way it's happening. And the picture drawn today is not a good one. I, for one, am really disappointed. And I'm deeply saddened because we're supposed to be intervening. We're supposed to have a system that holds people to account. Well, guess what? What we've seen today means no one's getting held to account. You can get away with almost murder, and good luck. Go for it. So I'm very disappointed. In fact, my day's been spoiled. Thank you.
All right, Honorable Ryder. Honorable Dutoy.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, I've been partially covered by Honorable Ryder. I wanted to ask a question if any political interference was experienced during these investigations. But it's obvious from one of the presenters that said that, yes, the case number should not be supplied because it's evident that the department has been compromised. That is what it boils down to. Chair, we are part of an ad hoc committee that needs to see if this Section 100 intervention was successful. And the majority of the information that's supplied in the presentations that we received today didn't necessarily speak to the departments that was placed under administration and that needs to be investigated. The previous meeting that we held, I inquired specifically with regards to the Office of the Premier, and I was then silent because in previous presentations that we received, it's evident that the Office of the Premier seemed to have been the center point among which all these other contraventions started, and what it comes back to at the end of the day. I would have liked to have received more information with regards to cases that are being investigated, arrests that are pending. Obviously, some of this information is sub judice and cannot be shared with the community. Something that is troubling to me is the fact that in other presentations, it was evident that the previous Premier, Mr. Supremo Mapelo, might have been implicated in this. I'm referring to two specific incidents, allegations of cattle that were sent to Nkandla as a gift, and sheep to the value of millions of rands that went to his farm. But no information was supplied on that. The 407 million contract flights from Mahikeng to Pilanesberg. We do not know if the investigations that were made and that's been spoken of in these presentations are relevant to the province being placed under administration. So some of the presentations that we received today, we got figures and statistics on rape in the rapes that occurred in the province. Yes, those are serious offences that must be looked at, but is not applicable to the presentation that we are supposed to receive. So, Chair, with due respect, the figures that are also applicable here, it's very low, because when I refer to the Auditor General's report, we're looking at closing balances on irregular expenditure 2017, 18, 18, 19, 19, 20 to the value of 17.7 billion, 21.6 billion, 23.2 billion rand. And the figures that are mentioned in the presentations that we got today speaks to 10 point something million rand, 15 million. So it's nowhere near what the Auditor General highlighted in their presentation. If we could get feedback with regards to this, it'll be appreciated. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Person.
Thank you, Chairperson. I have been covered by a lot of my two predecessors here, but coming to what the task of this committee, of this ad hoc committee is, I feel we are totally missing the purpose. And the reports did not serve the purpose of this committee, but it gave us a comprehensive overview, and I thank them for their hard work to compile these reports. What must happen with an intervention? When an administrator is appointed and he gets into an administration, he finds himself there. How is it that he will know anything if he does not do a forensic audit? So I think we should have started with a forensic audit. We should go back to the memorandum of understanding and the implementation of protocols that was drawn up by the INTT. And in that case, we should start at the beginning, and we should investigate this thing, because we do not need to know what's going on in the municipalities. That has to continue. The good work there has to continue. But we want to know what's going on in the provincial administration. And this thing brought us nowhere near to what's going in there. We just recently, over this past week, know of a chief director who was involved in cattle theft and stuff like that, and he's never in his office. We need to know audit on every person to know what is going on, where does the money go to, the fraud and corruption there. So we want to go back to the administrators' reports and see what did they pick up. Where are those reports? What did they pick up was shady or stuff like that happened in these administrations, of money not being utilized and processes and procedures not followed in supply chain and all those things. In the Department of Housing, all these departments that are under administration, section 130, 101B. We have to know things that happen there, not things that happens and cases that is being postponed for like 11, 12 years before it eventually is being investigated. Because that battles me. How can a case of 2010 only come to court now? What has happened in between? And all these things inconclusive. It shows that is lack of support and what from the investigation officers on the ground. Why is there no evidence or nothing like that? What happens there? That's something for another case. But we need to know the things that in the Northwest provincial administration, not in municipal administrations. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. The next speakers will be Honorable Zuki Swanita, Honorable Sileku, Honorable Muimang, and Honorable Dikeledi Masangu, in that order.
Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Chair.
Yes,
Honorable Chair.
So before that, I see some interjection. Yes.
Yes,
Chair.
Chair. I'm sorry to disturb. I'm wondering if it shows that side that my hand is up. It's been up for the past.
Oh yes, I apologize.
10 minutes.
Yes, you'll come immediately after Honorable Nita. I forgot you, and I apologize as well that I should have properly introduced you. This is Honorable Ngwezi Polani. He represents the KZN province. He is from the IFP. He joins us for the first time in this meeting. He replaced Honorable Mfayela, who passed on because of COVID-related disease. We want to heartily welcome Honorable Ngwezi to be part of this particular engagement. Immediately after this meeting, I will brief her about where we are in terms of the process, but because he's a new member of parliament, we heartily welcome him. And sorry about that. I've seen this name Ngwezi, but it slipped out of my mind. Then I said, I don't know Ngwezi, and Ngwezi should not be a member of parliament. That is why I was keeping you. But you will come immediately after Honorable Nita, and then you will be followed by Honorable Silev. I apologize for that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. Chairperson, let me also appreciate all the presentations. Chair, I've got about only 3 questions, Chair. One, Chair, is the one from the Special Investigation Unit. I see that they've referred about 44 cases to the province, but he has mentioned the fact that they are still waiting for the signature of the Premier. I am not sure how long have they been waiting for that signature. I would like to know the time frame they've waited for the signature, as well as indicate for us if for any reason anyone who is a premier refused to sign or delay to sign, what is the recourse? That is my first question. The second question, Chair, goes to Hawks. Hawks are indicating cases that are starting from the 2013, 2015, 2017. I'm just citing those because those are the old cases as far as I am concerned. On the 2013 one, they are mentioning that they are still in a process of doing a technical telephonic investigation. Even on that one, we need to know how long is it going to take for them to finalize such so that the case goes on. And the other one, Chair, is 2015, 6 statements that they are still waiting from the Treasury. And again, on that one, it cannot be a open-ended kind of a situation. If they request statements from the Office of the Treasury, they should be getting it clear when are they going to get that. If they are not getting such information, what else one can do to make sure that they quickly respond to what they want so that they are able to deal with the matters speedily. There were also 2017 matter, Chair, under Hawks, Chair. They were saying there are 4 matters outstanding. Can they indicate what are those 4 matters that have delayed the case to move on? Those are the 3 questions, Chair. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Honorable Lita. Followed Honorable Ngwezi, Olani Ngwezi. Over to you, sir.
Siyathokoza kakhulu sihlalo, sibingelele, sibonge nokwamukela. Ongqongqoshe bonke abakhona, ladies and gentlemen, the delegation from various entities. Honorable Chair, I want to find out from the role players in this investigation as to what do they think should be done to have the investigations fast-tracked and the matters prosecuted, because my feeling is that the process of the reporting of matters to SAPS or the opening of cases, investigations and prosecutions are actually getting delayed, and perhaps they might have some, recommendations as to how soon can we. Let me make an example, Chair. There are, somewhere in the slides, it appears that there are 51 cases, and 16 of those cases are in court, 11 have been finalized, and so on and so forth. And I'm like saying, look, if these matters have taken 2 years to actually go to court, or rather around that period, so it means seeing these 51 cases finalized is going to take more than 2 years to come. So maybe as people who are actually in the field, what is it that they can say to us? So what do they think should be done? Because we'd like to see these matters finalized, Honorable Chair. And, on the cases finalized, I've seen the amount that is actually maybe going to be recovered and so on. But I'm also interested in how much are we losing? How much have we lost on those cases if they have an answer, even if they don't have it today, but I'm interested in that. And also, Chair, my worry is that much focus in the investigation has been given to municipalities. And You know, I think that big monies have been lost also in the departments, the provincial departments. And we can't be only chasing 44,000 rands, for instance, in a certain municipality and leaving 300 million rand in the Department of Health. Obviously, we should prioritize 300 million rand because that is a lot of money. And you know, the balance between the two, I would have loved to see more matters, Honorable Chair, from the provincial departments being finalized, you know, other than in municipalities, because in some municipalities it's just, you know, drop in the ocean, but the damage has been done mostly in the provincial government. So we must quickly arrive, you know, at the finalities of these matters. So I don't know whether they would actually take that. And it seems to me, Chair, that most matters in the provincial government are kind of having classified information, because then some in the presentations, they are saying, no, we have no problem in releasing case numbers. Then the Honorable Advocate Bato, he says, no, we must not reveal case numbers. You know, it's like this information is in the provincial departments is more classified than in municipalities, because in municipalities, even on matters that has not been finalized, we have been provided with the information. And Chair, I'm requesting, or rather proposing, that, you see, immediately when matters are reported, can these matters be actually attended to? We mustn't wait for a period where national government then puts the provincial government under Section 100. Then we can then say, okay, now we are going to attend. Because this tendency of attending to matters when they have been long actually reported and nothing is being done, then the damage is continuing. It's not being stopped. So that's what I'm trying to say, Honorable Chair, that as matters are resolved to combat corruption, we must attend to these matters with immediate effect. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Wesley. Honorable Siyaku, followed by Honorable Muiman.
Thank you, Chair. Apologies for the camera. I've got connection problems. Allow me, Chair, to greet the members from the executive and welcome all presentations. Chair, I think all of us are actually Why do we say so? Because as you have mentioned that we had previous briefings, and when we were briefed, you know, they would deal specifically with the departments that are under Section 100A and the departments of Section 100B. But when we started today, the briefing that we got, there was lack of detail. There was no specifics that says when we started to intervene or when the IMTT started its work in the Northwest. These are the kind of cases that were referred to the law enforcement agencies. And when we deal with those cases that were referred by the IMTT to the law enforcement agencies, then we would have we'll have an example that says, in terms of the Department of Social Development, so many cases were referred for investigation, so that we can have a clear understanding. So on terms of the departments that are currently under intervention. As much as we welcome the intervention or the report in terms of the cases that has been, you know, investigated in municipalities, we still are not sure in terms of what, or has there been any corruption, has there been any fraud, you know, in the departments that are currently under Section 100A and B, because all these law enforcement agencies has presented has not actually given us, as the members of the ad hoc committee, detail in terms of these are the cases that we are dealing with. Because, Chair, when we had a presentation in terms of why, one of the reasons why the intervention, was actually implemented in the Northwest was specifically in the office of the Premier, because what they are saying there was a lot of irregularities in that particular office, because that office was used to do programs, to run government projects and to run them as political projects. But what we are hearing today, there is no mention that says, in terms of fruitless and wasteful expenditure or irregularities in the office of the Premier, this is what we have investigated and these are the outcomes. That something is lacking, Chair. So I don't know where we are going to get that information, because as I sit here, for me, it looks as if that all these departments that are currently under intervention, there was no irregularities, because no one can actually give us, detail, specific and precise detail in terms of what has happened in all those 10 departments. Are they implicated or they are not implicated? And also, Chair, what Mrs. Barr, the head of the NPA said, when the government intervened, there was problems. And what I would like to note from her is that when did they, as the NPA, start intervening in that particular province? And were they fully capacitated? Are they capacitated to do the work that is expected from them? And also, Chair, I would like to hear from her in terms of all these departments. You will have a presentation that says we have referred so many cases to the NPA, but they don't tell us when were those cases referred to the NPA, and for how long those cases have been lying there with the NPA. So we would like to have more detail in terms of the cases that has been referred to the NPA. How long have they been sitting with those cases? And why have they been sitting with those cases? And by when are they expecting to deal with these cases? And also, Chair, my plea to the law enforcement agencies, this intervention was started in the 5th Parliament, and there were certain recommendations in terms of criminal cases that these law enforcement agencies were supposed to look at. So what I was expecting them to say, this is what we were given, and this is the progress that we are currently sitting with. So I am a little bit worried, Chair, because the way we are dealing with things now, we are not using the speed that we're supposed to be using when we deal with corruption. And also in terms of the IPID, Chair, I don't know whether they are able to restore its credibility, because there's been a lot of negative things written and said about the IPID. When SAPS members will actually try to investigate the IPID, and the IPID will do vice versa, and there are also members in that particular province that have been alleged to, to be doing wrong things in that particular province. Chair, I am really, really disappointed in the manner and how the presentation, we were given to us. So I don't know whether the brief that was given to all these law enforcement agencies, they misunderstood the brief, or they just, they just did, a presentation just to present to us without giving us any detail to make sure whether there is progress made or not. Because, Chair, if they don't give us details in terms of constraints that they are confronting, how are we as a Hoc Committee members going to advocate a position that says these people or these law enforcement agencies are lacking in X, Y, Z, and they need to be capacitated so that they can come, they can do their job, with the quickest, speed that we expect. Chair, I think that's, and I think, Chair, we will have to, going forward, to engage with them more, so that they can give us details so that we can interrogate. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair.
Yes, we know.
Chair, let me start by also expressing my appreciation from the presenters in terms of an update given. The presentation takes us on board in terms of the work that the institutions are doing, and we appreciate the the need to ensure that our work must not compromise the work that these institutions are doing, particularly the Hawks and the NPA, given the need from ourselves to respect their independence. I believe that the independence of the NPA was thoroughly canvassed in the matter that relates to both the two previous NPA boss prior to the arrival of Advocate Batoi. The presentation from the NPA and the Hawks chair speaks to the total amount involved of 2.3 billion. So I think the question will be, out of this amount, can they disaggregate the figures in terms of the way that addresses our mandate in terms of Section 100? By so doing, then they must be able to then make a distinction between the matters that predate 2018 decision to place the provincial government under administration, and those that happen after. The reason why I'm raising this point is because in terms of the presentation from the Hawks, I only was able to isolate two matters. The first one relates to, I think, is the Mediosa and also the HOD of health, that one can get a sense that indeed they addresses the matters beyond the 2018 decision. The rest, even from the case numbers, though we appreciate the good work that the institutions have done in terms of securing both the conviction and sentence, but we can see that they can be traced as far back as 2010. It's 2010, it's 2012, it's 2014, it's 2015 matters that are mainly dealing with matters outside Section 100, which then will not assist us in terms of getting a sense in terms of what transpired with the investigations that they are doing, working on the mandate of this committee. So I think it's a matter that the team, I suspect, they were a bit extra cautious and vigilant, not to jeopardize. But by so doing, then they populated the presentation with matters outside our scope, because now it mainly speaks to the municipalities. And these cases, from the cast numbers, we can then see that they happened prior to 2018 administration decision. Like as I said, it's good that they are giving us an update in terms of the work that they are doing, but in terms of our focus, it is beyond our scope. So I get a sense that probably they were more vigilant, like as Honorable Minister has indicated. But my proposal is that they will have to probably respond in writing in terms of the work that we are doing, particularly given the fact that I think we are also limited in terms of time in terms of the work that we are doing. But I think it is important that for us to be able to exercise oversight, we need much more detailed in terms of matters, investigations, cases that relates to Section 100. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Mimman. The last two speakers in that order, Honorable Zanda Mela and Honorable Mahlang.
Yes, Chair. Can you hear me, Chair?
Yes, I can hear you very loud and clear.
All right. No, thanks, Chair. I just want to pose a question. You can respond to me later, Chair, and to all the members of the committee. What oversight role are we going to play in this whole intervention based on the reports that we got today? Chair, we've got, I think, the reports just here maybe to make us lose focus or what, I don't know, Chair, but it's up to this committee, the whole committee collectively, so to decide on it. There's an AG report, Chair, and there's a report from Treasury. The report
You are cutting, we can't hear you at all.
Instead, we get reports of 100,000 selling of it. Come again, Chair?
Repeat that. You
Yes.
audible.
What are you saying, Chair? Come again, Chair?
Didn't hear you at all. Repeat that because you were cutting.
So now, Chair, if they are saying that some of the information we can't get it from the investigating officers, then how are we going to play the oversight role? If the SIU can come to this committee and tell us openly so that Mr. Likalakala, they've frozen his, from one of the municipalities, his pensions and all those kind of things. Those are part of the investigations. And for us to play an oversight role, we need to have that investigation, those details, like follow-ups, and we can't, as a committee, be protecting people who have looted money of the poor people in this country for the sake that, you know, what, the information must be protected. I think we need to look at that, Chair. Thank you.
Honorable Mahlang.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson, honorable members and ministers, deputy ministers, good afternoon. Chair, I think I will start by saying it looks like as a committee, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay,
we
thank
hear
you.
Very well, very well.
Thank you, Chair. I think as individual members, we have separate or different expectations from the team in as far as the report is concerned or the presentation. I will start basing from that angle to say, maybe to propose to say to you, Chair, maybe you need to coordinate us and as fast as we can, just for half an hour or so, whenever suitable for all the members, so that we can be able to talk to each other and say what is our expectation, what is the understanding in as far as the mandate is concerned, so that when we invite the stakeholders, they are clear on the expectations, on the mandate, on the area where their presentation needs to focus. I think that will help. Having said that, Chairperson, I think I also want to know. I think some members have said they are not happy that the presentation focused more on the municipality. But I don't want to discourage the team for the work that they have done in as far as the municipalities are concerned. But I want to make an addition to say there are provincial governments like COPTA, which is responsible for the local government, the local municipalities. What role did they play? How infected are they in terms of the wrongdoing by the municipality? There are provincial treasury departments also coming to that. How far did they go? What role did they play? How far are they implicated? Having said that, Chairperson, I think many members have indicated that while this decision was taken, most of the noise was more on the issue of the focus was on the department or the office of the premier. But I think my expectation for me is that all other departments, I think they have had an indication in as far as the Department of Health is concerned. All other departments like human settlement and all those departments needs to be investigated and give us progress and commitment as to how long it will take. I also want to applaud the team for having been able to strengthen the capacity in terms of the personnel, because there was lack of personnel in as far as their operation is concerned. I also want to appreciate, I think this is something that the public will be happy about. As much as we expect more from you, honorable ministers and the team, but there's something good that gives me hope that at the end of the day, there are people who have been prosecuted, people who have been sentenced, and somebody has worn or is wearing an orange overall because of the work that you have done. And I want to encourage you that this is what the public is saying. Our constituency that we are representing are saying, we hear you that you are investigating, you are arresting people, the whole thing, but they don't end up anyway. I think we need to speak to the public, and even ourselves, we need to highlight these issues to say something is being done by this administration. I think I'm happy with this. I understand your feeling, Honorable Ryder, but this is something that has made my day to say, at the end of the day, there are people who are paying for what they have been done, for what they are doing, and also the recovery of the money. It's something that we need to celebrate, and we need to give you courage and say, do more of this, and just make sure that you speed up the process, because as South African we can be impatient, but at least there's hope at the end of the tunnel. Thank you so much, Chair. And my apology about the video.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mahlangu, for your input as well. I want to also come in and make my contribution to the debate, but I want to rejoin the queue of thanking the presentations which were given to us today. I have a different viewpoint from other members who are despondent and are totally not happy about about this report to say this is our first interaction with the law enforcement agencies. And for me, it was quite important to lay the foundation. And just with the information that we have received, it is clear that we are having a long way to go in terms of interacting with these agencies. But for me, this is a beginning of that particular process. When I started with the meeting, I said the law enforcement agencies have got a major role to play to ensure that they restore stability in the Northwest and they restore what belongs to the people of the Northwest in terms of the allegations which happened there, and in terms of the reports that we received from the Auditor General of non-compliance and so on, that they have that responsibility to ensure that they help the people of the Northwest in that respect. Having said that, I want to say that it is quite clear that we're having a long way to go, and this is the beginning, as I said, that we are going to have to interact very, very closely and in deeper detail with each of the agencies that presented before us. I sent letters to all these agencies, and I was specific in terms of the kind of information that we're looking at, and we were quite detailed in terms of them presenting before this committee. And I don't lose hope in terms of how we are going to take the process forward from my point of view. Just some few issues and observations that I made. I want to start by saying building confidence of these institutions is very, very much important. And acknowledging and appreciating the fact that we're coming from a terrible past of the very same institutions in the Northwest Province. Like, for example, a person who was the head of the Hawks, as Honorable Silevi indicated, he's going through a series of cases which include murder and allegations of corruption. And there's an extent in which authority was vested to an individual who finds himself in this situation today and was expected to deal with corruption. And I'm happy that we have people who are now focused in terms of dealing with these particular issues. Now, at the level of the NPA, there's a problem, Advocate Batoyi. We are told that your head of office in the Northwest has resigned just last week. A person who was handling most of these particular cases. And I would like you to respond on that, because it is quite important, given the nature of the problems that are obtained in the Northwest, that we have people who are credible, who are not tainted, who are not having issues around them, who can deal with these particular issues. For example, in addition, there is a widespread report that came last week all over the media that says a person who is investigating high-profile cases, including in the case of the former MEC, who's charged of, I don't know, his fraud or what, that person from the NPA in the Northwest was just arrested last week. I'm not sure to what extent, but my view is that such reports do not inspire confidence in the people of the province to say these institutions that are supposed to help them in respect of what happened before 2018 are the people who can indeed and who can truly help them to deal with the issues that are confronting them. For me, that is quite important. And I agree with members who are saying largely the presentations that we received today were about municipalities. They were about, and just few, in respect of the cases that were sent to the NPA for prosecution, only 3 cases out of the rest. And all these matters are still under investigation. And what we are not getting clear from the Hawks is what are the issues? What are the problems? Why are these investigations taking such a long time to be concluded, because it is in the best interest of justice that these particular cases get concluded, and we do not get a sense about what are the problems. Are the problems of incapacity, short of skills, short of manpower, short of resources? And that point doesn't come up very, very clear to understand exactly what is the problem and what delays this. And I cannot say it more and better from what the members have already alluded to in terms of the implications of delaying these particular cases. And for me, that particular point is very much important. What I also want to know, because as I indicated, we have received reports from the Auditor General and the National Treasury. There are about 15 forensic investigations which were undertaken, and some of them are still undertaken by these agencies in respect of the Northwest of what happened. What is the collaboration between your work as different agencies with the Office of the Auditor General and the Office of the National Treasury to ensure that we do not duplicate or overlap the work that we are doing? For me, that is very, very, very much important. But I think the bottom line is we need to ensure that we meet as this committee, reflect on the discussions today, and develop ways in which we can follow up these particular matters quite properly, with a view of ensuring that we do our oversight functions very, very well. But as I indicated from my point of view, I think this was the beginning. These reports are not bad. For me, these are good reports that give us a sense about what is happening in the Northwest. And the onus is on us as members of Parliament to make follow-ups in terms of all these particular issues which were raised. I will invite you through General Becky Keller, the Honorable Minister of Police, to guide us in terms of how we must proceed in relation to the responses to the questions and the comments which were made by members of Parliament. Over to you, General. Guide us in that respect. General is not there. Anyone from the executive who wants to say something before I allow the agencies to respond? If there's none, I'm moving. Can I invite Honorable? Can I invite?
Chair.
Honorable Matale, Russell Matale.
Yeah, obviously the minister was leading us, and I thought he was still on the platform.
Yes.
I think from our side, Chair, we should indicate our willingness to work with the committee so that the committee is better informed and we respond to the issues that they are raising appropriately, because it's only through collaborating together with yourselves that we can become more effective and we can make your work more easy. We fully support what you are doing, and we will not be found wanting as the executive in terms of cooperating with yourselves and to make your work as easy as possible. I won't say much. I think I should allow you to proceed from here. But thanks for affording us an opportunity to interact with the ad hoc committee, Chair. Thanks very much.
Okay. Of different agencies, I'm going to afford you the opportunity to respond to some of the issues. But in the meantime, remember what honorable members are saying. We are going to meet on an agency basis as a committee and formulate a proper way of engaging with the reports that you place before us and develop an approach which will help us as the ad hoc committee to extract proper information so that we are enabled in doing our oversight function. Remember that, as I indicated, we are going to make a series of follow-ups with each one of you to deal with this particular matters after we have developed that up. But if you want to, you can respond on some of the issues which were raised, and maybe each one of you more than 5 minutes each to respond. Thank you. Let me start with NPA in that order.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, just firstly, in terms of expectations, I think that's a very important point that has been raised, because we certainly wouldn't want to come and waste the time of the committee by providing information that you don't find useful to the work that you're doing. So I think it's very important that we understand exactly what the committee wants from us. I think perhaps there may have been a communication challenge there, because we didn't receive any direct invitation from the chair, which caused a little bit of uncertainty about what exactly was expected from us. The communication we received was via the secretariat of the interministerial task team, and we would very much appreciate, Chair, and I would appreciate engaging with you even directly, bilaterally, so that we can have a better understanding and communication, and appreciate the work of the committee. And when the expectations are clear, we can actually assist each other. So I very much look forward to that, and I will engage with you bilaterally, Chair. So just to clarify that, because we were also unclear about the expectations, but we tried our best to give information relating to the cases in the Northwest intervention, because that was basically what was communicated to us, was that we needed to give an overview of the cases that the NPA is dealing with regard to the Northwest intervention. So Chair, I agree there were a number of cases. I mean, if one looks at the figures, there have been comments from a number of honorable members about the numbers, and I think IPID figures were particularly high. We didn't expect to come into a presentation to deal with the IPID cases, and we certainly are engaging with IPID to deal with the issues. They are, I won't go into the details, but our officers are talking in order to properly address all of the IPID matters that are referred to the NPA. I will leave it at that for now, Chair. On the issue of dealing with the Chair, if you bear with me, I think that the point made by a number of colleagues about the investigations and where exactly the investigations are, I think, Chair, that is why I think we need to have a common understanding, because it is difficult. A number of colleagues, honorable members, also raised concerns about the focus on the municipalities and not the provincial government. Certainly, you know, as an NPA, we are certainly not targeting any people in any particular with space, but certainly we need to prioritize given the very limited resources, and certainly the DPCI as the investigative agency, you know, will have to, I'm sure General Labia will be able to address that. But I think, Chair, we have to be quite candid about the fact that, and this is not meant to be an excuse at all, that the rebuilding process and capacitation and what has happened in the past, recent past, has really decimated and devastated the impact of law enforcement. And so, you know, we are certainly in the NPA are really that the Northwest had no asset forfeiture office. And Advocate de Kock will be able to give a little bit more detail about when we became involved in this, you know, focusing on the Northwest, making sure that we have, and you heard from the presentation, that we are really looking to get the good, capable people into the specialized commercial crimes unit, as well as in the asset forfeiture unit. As I said, there was no presence at all. We are recruiting a regional head, and one must accept that a large part of last year was lost completely to law enforcement. And so that has also had a serious impact. But Chair, I agree with you that things need to move faster, and we need to make, you know, bring more cases, and we certainly are are hoping that this year will be a lot better in terms of moving a lot quicker on certain cases. Advocate de Kock and Advocate Rabaji, the two deputy national directors, were only appointed last June and have come on board, really hit the road running. In terms of asset forfeiture, some of the colleagues mentioned the figures. I agree with the colleagues. I mean, we have had billions stolen from our coffers, and the figures that are coming through at the moment are just minuscule compared to what the country has lost. We completely agree, and that picture has to change. But building the asset forfeiture capacity is the only way we can do it. And we mentioned that we hired contract prosecutors in asset forfeiture professionals, and the reason for that was because recruitment takes a while, you know, and we try to push that, but in order to get quickly capacitated, we hired people on contract, and we are able to hire them and get a deviation to get them on board for 3 years and not the normal 1 year. So that some of these cases are quite complex, so then they require to be on longer. So we've managed to get that. And so, and under Advocate Rabaji, I have every confidence that she has plans in place, and she herself is not satisfied with we are pleased that things are moving and the wheels are turning, but we want that picture to change. And so I certainly hope, Chair, that when we do present the next time, we'll be able to show that there has been improvement. But I think the reality is that the expectations are very high, and understandably so. And I think we have to be quite candid, and hopefully General Labia will also speak to this. The capacity in the Hawks is extremely limited. You hear of investigators carrying dozens of dockets and cases, and you know the need for skills, for highly skilled, and you know the numbers as well as the skills is seriously lacking in law enforcement. And there are plans. I know General Labia is trying to very hard to address that, like we are, but that is the reality. And so any support we can get in terms of getting more capacity will certainly assist, because the only way we can move investigations faster is if we have dedicated capacity with high levels of skills. And one must also remember, we also have corruption in our own ranks, which we are still, you know, trying to deal with. And that makes it, complicates it much further. But there is certainly a need to assist law enforcement with skills and certainly capacitation. And we're pleased that for now, our budgets have, given the impact of COVID, we've not lost, no money has been taken away from us. There's certainly been no political interference in the work of the NPA, and we've received a lot of support in terms of, even from the Minister of Justice, in terms of trying to get the capacity in the NPA. Chair, the questions relating to the Northwest, yes, it has been publicly reported that the DPP in the Northwest has resigned. That is correct. I've been asked the question, but I haven't said anything publicly about it yet, because there are processes, but it was in the media, and we are, I did indeed receive the letter of resignation, and we are processing it, because that needs to be, that's on its way to the president, because the president is the one that deals with this matter. We will certainly look to ensure that, and then as you mentioned, Chair, the head of the Specialized Commercial Crimes Unit was arrested last week for shoplifting. That is certainly, you know, we are quite, it's shocking, and we are dealing with it. You know, there are processes. She was arrested, and the criminal case will continue. In the meantime, Advocate de Kock is working very quickly, because you have the DPP as well as the head of the Commercial Crimes Unit that are effectively, well, the DPP is resigned but still there, but we need to stabilize the province very quickly. So we are, whilst we allow the processes to continue. I agree with colleagues, honorable members, who expressed the view that you cannot, how do you build confidence when those that are entrusted with dealing with corruption are themselves arrested for these cases. But we cannot prejudge the issue. The process must take its course, both disciplinary and criminal. And in the meantime, we will, Advocate Hoc and myself will make sure that we are able to put people, skilled people, to make sure that there's still stability and that the work continues and is not affected by these developments. You can rest assured we will make sure that it's not negatively affected. Chair, I'm not sure whether I've covered broadly, but if there's anything else, I'd be happy to.
No, this is work in progress. It's okay. I think we're okay. It's work in progress, as we indicated. We are going to engage with you soon. After this, we are going to meet, and I will also have bilaterals with each one of you as head of entities to prepare proper and better for this for the next meeting. Thank you very much, General Lebeya.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson and the honorable members. Firstly, maybe I should start with the question of Honorable Nita regarding the cases of 2015, 2013, and 2017. Honorable Chairperson, with regard to the matter of 2013, I'll start with that old one, 2013. Yes, this matter, there has been those challenges regarding dealing with lawyers who have actually charged the department what was believed to be more than what they should have done. It has been complicated by the need to have the correct tariffs. What is that which they should have charged? But I need to say that the warning statement and only a report from the National Treasury are the things that are outstanding. So the matter will, I believe, move more quicker than what it has happened in the past. Honorable Chair, with regard to the 2017 matter where we're talking about 4 statements, we will not detail as to whose statements are these. We know, because I think that once we mention the names, which I do have, it may not be proper in public platform, but we are to get the 4 statements that are remaining. The rest of the work has been done. Yes, it should have been finalized earlier, maybe by 2018, as it comes from June 2017. The last one of the 3 cases that have been referred to is the 2016 matter, where we are talking about 6 statements from witnesses that are remaining, as well as 1 statement from the National Treasury. In this one, coming from 2016 in August, yes, it is part of the matters that were at a national level, and then it has to be referred to the provincial level after the new provincial head have taken over the reins in the province. So there were matters that were unfortunately delayed, looking at how we have been dealing with these matters in the past. I think from now on, we will see some improvement. Honorable Chairperson and members, we have been asked as to when were the cases referred to the NPA, the 13 matters that we have referred, as to when were they referred to the NPA for decision. We do have the dates, but we did not put the dates for this meeting because we are working closely with the NPA. Our investigators are working closely with the NPA, but we have those dates, and then if necessary, in writing, we can provide them. But otherwise, we did not bring them forth as to when were these matters referred. We engage on a regular basis with regard to matters that need to be decided upon. Honorable Chair, the next item was the issue of the capacity as to whether we have got the challenge with the capacity. What is that which make our work to seem to be dragging on? While we have indicated in the past that we are operating at 47% capacity, we appreciate the injection of funds that have been made available to the DPCI to get these resources. As we speak, we have received sufficient vehicles that were distributed by the Deputy Minister last week on behalf of the Minister of Police. So vehicle-wise, we have now been resourced. We were struggling with regard to that. And then a personnel area where we are operating on 47%, I think we have almost about to get 90 human resources, just waiting for the mother body to sign off on the contract appointments that we have requested for 3 years. This will assist in ensuring that it closes the gap while we are recruiting for permanent employment in the environment. So what should be happening is one of the questions that was asked is just to allow us a little bit of time to get those resources that we have requested, and then it will move much quicker. As the honorable members can observe, on the matters that were given to us, which we did not deal with any other matter in the province, but those that belong in the IMTCC, we have worked on 83%, and we are now working on the remaining 17%, which means that at least something has been done, but we agree that there is much more that needs to be done. I think with the understanding that the directive will become more clearer as to what we should be incorporating, including, it will maybe address the concerns of the Honorable House as well as the Honorable Members. So that, I think, speaks to the most critical areas that refers to the DPCI. Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson and Honorable Members.
Thank you very much. SIU.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson and Honorable Member. We note the comments from the committee, and we will try and update when we meet with the committee next time to try and put more information. But in responding to specific matter that relate to SIU Chairperson, there was a question about the 44 cases, and there was in the 44 cases there were issues about the 2 matter where we are waiting for a letter of support from the Premier's office, and the question was when did we send this request? The information that I received from the team is that in one of the matter, the letter of request was sent on the 30th of September 2020, and the other one was sent, yeah, but the other one, I think it relates to the old matter, which predates the 2018, that is 2017. So I just managed to get one date for one letter, which is 30 September 2020, and I'll get another date for the other letter of support that we requested from the Premier, and I think it will be part of the response that will be given to the committee in writing. And the other question was the details on when were the cases were referred to NPA. And on that one also, Chairperson, we also don't have the date with us now, but it's something that we can able to put it in writing and give it to the committee. And I do agree that with my colleagues that we prepare our presentation based on the brief that we received, and we tried as much to put more, but the bilateral engagement will really help in trying to understand what is it and how more can we try to be able to make this process quite efficient for the member going forward. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's okay. IPID. IPID. Yes. Now, can you unmute yourself, please? We don't hear you yet. We can see that you're talking, but we can't hear you. Still, we can't hear you. No, not yet. Or it's only me, honorable members? I can't hear you.
I can't hear as well, Chair.
We can't hear, Chair.
We can't hear all of us.
Yes. Let your colleague help you. Mr. Matthew Sissoko.
Chair, can you hear me now?
Yes, much better. Let your colleague help you. Sissoko. Yes, much better.
Can you hear me, Chair?
Loud and clear. I can hear you loud and clear.
Chair, am I audible? Can you hear me, Chair?
Yes, you can proceed.
Chair, am I audible?
No, it's audible. Okay, if we can't hear you, it's okay. As I indicated.
Thank you, Chair. Am I audible, Chair?
Yes, loud and clear. We can hear.
Thank you, Chair.
Look, in the interest of time, it's okay. We are going to not proceed with IPID. First thing, just to summarize the discussions in the meeting, we are going to meet as this either on Friday or Monday, next week Monday. We are going to discuss, have our own discussion in terms of this important part of the work, because we are all in that extremely important that we must get. We want law enforcement very clear. We have a little bit of responsibility of normal first and in terms of the issues that are before them. Have that discussion. We'll also have a bilaterals with each of the agencies. We will forward to them exactly in precision the questions that we want, the kind of presentations that they must make to the committee. That is what we are going to do. And given this, I've just checked the diary and linked up with the people from the Northwest Province. We are going to postpone our oversight visit to the Northwest, which was supposed to be from the 1st until the 5th of March. We are going to look at another date. In the meantime, during that time, we will use it to reconvene a meeting of this nature, but we will spell out exactly the details of that particular meeting. There is a point there are 2 points that I want to really underline, especially one to Advocate Batoyi. Advocate Batoyi, thanks very much for the information that you shared to us in respect of the people from the province. Now, we would like, as part of this process going forward, that all the cases which were declined by the NPA must be reviewed, especially those that were done by the previous head of NPA who has just resigned. They must be reviewed because in your presentations you didn't tell us how many cases were withdrawn or were not prosecuted in the way that they were supposed to be prosecuted, and we think that there must be a review of all those particular cases. I will brief honorable members when we meet properly in terms of that particular thing. But in the meantime, in the interest of justice, I think that must happen. With regard to the IPID, we are going to request that there be a proper briefing about the Hoc unit in the next meeting with us. Prepare that submission because this has got a profound implication to the work of the law enforcement agencies, and we need to be taken on board in a proper way in respect of the Northwest Hoc unit, what happened, where is the process now, and how it was impacting negatively in the work of the law enforcement agencies in the Northwest. With that, let me take this opportunity to thank everybody who attended the meeting, especially members of the executive who joined the meeting and participated quite fruitfully. We benefited from your own contributions. Thank all the heads of the entities, agencies which appeared before us. Like I indicated, I think this is the beginning of that process that we are unfolding to ensure that we engage. And in our view, we are not going to tire from engaging with all of these particular issues until we ourselves are satisfied that we perform our oversight function properly and that you are able to deal with all the issues in the way that you are supposed to deal with. On that note, thank you very much, everybody, for attending this meeting, and the meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you, Chair.
Honorable members, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson.